Okay. Good morning, everybody. Yes, good morning. So my name is Deborah Jacoby. I'm the Director of Inside Sales. I, too, wear a couple of hats. I'm also the Director of Digital Cinema Finance for one of our sister companies, NEC Display Solutions America. But on the day-to-day basis, I support inside sales for NEC Financial Services and have two people that report to me, Alex Vialona, who's in my office right now, and Noreen Burns, who was unable to attend. So this morning, I'm going to go over who NEC Financial is and how we fit into the lovely family of NEC, go over a little bit of programs, look at our tools, and discuss some programs. So I'm going to get started. At the end, I would appreciate it if you have questions, feel free to ask them. The focus today really is to give you what I consider to be the 40,000 of how we do business and who we are. And after today, we really need to continue these conversations because we really pride ourselves in being able to tailor programs that are specific to the way in which you like to go to market. So let me get started. I thought it was time to put up a couple of slides on how we fit into the corporate structure in the United States and globally. So these slides don't generally get shared with others, but I think it's important to understand that NEC Financial Services, who has been around for quite some time, there's actually a whole family of sister companies. We consolidate to NEC Corporation of America, and then eventually we all consolidate to NEC Corporation of Japan. So if you look at us on the map, you can see that we have representation that covers actually the entire country with offices scattered. So as much as I support inside sales, there's also an additional sales organization here that has regional sales managers that are actually feet on the street every day, and they report to Colin Rosenmeyer. So we've been pretty much covering the United States, and you're going to hear more and more about the global presence that will continue to be developing NEC Financial as a lender that will be reaching beyond the United States in the future. So when we talk about NEC Financial Services being a captive, I think it's important because as far as I'm concerned, this is the key differentiator on how we behave and really the advantage for you talking to potential customers. So when you stack us up as a captive, it means we're really owned by the manufacturer, which really means that the money that we lend comes in from our manufacturer. So we're not a marketing arm sitting on a bank where we have to represent and warranty the approval guidelines set by a lender, a bank. So I like to say that as a captive, we lend our own money, we bill, we collect, and we protect your customers for the term because we're all about the brand and the life cycle of that customer. We recognize how hard today it is to get a customer, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that we keep that customer for you. So to really punctuate the differentiators as a captive, the most important one is the ease of doing business with us and the wide open credit door approval rate we provide. It's important for you because when you get a deal and you close it, you don't want to figure out where does it have to go. You want to know that you have one source that you can send the transaction to and it will be approved. So the data we have here, we keep it on a monthly basis. We report, as do other lenders, report to the Equipment Leasing Association. And this data comes in from all the lenders out there, and here's how we stack up. Year over year, month over month, we run a 97% approval rate. That's amazing. So I just want to highlight this, that in the best of times, 83, and we run, no matter what, over 90s. I also want to highlight that we learned early on, since we've been around for over 30 years, that we can't be picky on the products that we help support for dealers and I'll use interchangeably dealer, reseller, but we finance technology, whether it's software-only transactions, video conference, data, security. We want to finance network, IT. We've done transactions where it's 100% cable and there is no hardware. So I just want you to think about the fact that if you're in an opportunity, you should recognize that we finance other manufacturers every day, and we finance other products related to technology. So how do we do that? Well, we start out as saying we're a leasing company, but at the end of the day, we've kind of morphed into a financial institution. So if we don't have a structure or a contract that can satisfy the deal, we kind of create it. So this is just a little listing of all the things we do, whether it's pure real rental contracts, which competes against hosted, by the way, and we can have that conversation another day, installment payment agreements, loans. On occasion, we've even done working capital, but we do software licensing, finance. So we have contracts that can accommodate all sorts of types of transactions. So I just want to highlight that we're quite creative. So what's the usual things you should expect from us? Well, credit decisions within 3 hours or less, clearly high approval rate. We like to use what I call electronic format for signatures, which simply means we send our contracts out to an email, and we allow for that to be signed electronically and back up to us so we can be sending purchase orders the same day we approve a deal to you guys. We set you up with direct deposit so we can put money in your accounts when deals are ready to fund. And we also, of course, provide competitive rates. And that being said, if you wanted us to mark up the rates with points, yes, we can do that. So when we talk about some of our programs, I'm just going to touch on a few of our programs. When transactions start to grow, and I'd like to use the number $35,000, we can offer progress payments, which are in addition to a customer signing our lease. This would be a short-term, let's call it a construction loan, that we would put out to the customer to sign, and we would release money to you according to the sales order that the customer has signed previously. We then start the clock on the money out the door, and when we can commence the underlying lease contract, we kill the short-term notes, and we look at the accrued interest, and then we capitalize it into the customer's monthly payment, which, by the way, is all done without another signature from them. So that just helps us help you either A, order equipment, or help you with cash flow along the project if it's going to take more time than usual. We also have a program called Advanced Funding, which allows for us to pay you 80% of the proceeds once the customer has signed my lease. Now, in those instances, it might be required for you to sign a pay proceeds letter having us direct funds to either a distributor, another manufacturer, another third party, and we would do that. We also have programs for making the delivery and acceptance form go away. And by the way, we don't even require them at transactions under $10,000 because we just don't want to touch the deal more than we have to. So on deals under $10,000, under our standard transactions, you send us an invoice, we put money in your checking account on that day. We also allow for new ways to sell. More and more, maintenance billing is a part of the conversation, and we have tools that can help you present that in a proposal format that I'll show you in a second. But we do allow for you to talk to a customer about the one bill, and we finance the hardware, the software, the install, the shipping, and then we allow for you to put a monthly reoccurring charge there for service and support or maintenance, and we don't finance it. We just collect it on your behalf, and when we get it, we send it to you. And we also have a bundled rental program, which I really want to say is just a different approach to selling. So instead of going to a customer and saying your hardware is X, your cabling is Y, and I'm going to come and roll trucks and charge you every time I show up. You sell one payment to them that covers all of this. And we have a tool that you can play with to present this just like that. And we put it on a rental contract, by the way. So after this presentation, we can send you guys some of these flyers. This just goes over some of the highlights of our advanced funding program and how we assign proceeds with a form that you guys would keep on hand to tell us what to do. And then again, we have a flyer for progress of payments for customers. I want to highlight that we also can do municipal financing. It's important to not ignore this. We do municipalities all day long, and we behave the way they want us to, which means the rates are reduced because we actually get we get tax discounting because of the municipality. We pass it and subsidize it into the rate, and to give them more of an attractive rate for financing. And we also put their documents out that are very specific to municipalities. And we would use a municipal lease, which actually allows for the non-appropriation of funds in a given budget year, that if they don't get their funds, we would stop the billing. And this is a requirement for all municipalities that this clause be there. In addition to that, we also are required to give them an amortization schedule up front, which you never do in a lease. But once again, we do behave according to the way the municipalities want us to. So this is good business. You guys shouldn't ignore it. And then this flyer is just a highlight of our maintenance billing program that I mentioned, where we can literally be your billing service, and we can collect the maintenance on the lease invoice monthly to your customers that we bill. We can do it monthly or quarterly, and it costs nothing. We collect it, and if we have it, we remit it to you on a monthly or quarterly basis. If you were to ask us for it annually in advance, we would charge you 5% to do that. So this is just a flyer that highlights our bundled rental program, which is really you building out one payment and us billing it for your customer, and then behind the scenes stripping away your service and paying you guys, and then getting our monthly nut for the hardware software install. So NED's our calculator. NED is actually a repository for all things NEC Financial. It's a place for you guys to go and pull promotions, programs, points of contact, sample contracts, and our quoting tool. So this is an example here where we can actually tailor them for you so that it comes addressed from you when you are putting together your presentation for a customer in a proposal. We can have your logo at the top, and in a couple of very simple clicks, you can be presenting these as part of your package, where you can give the customer our application as the next steps and some options for them to make decisions. This is what a traditional proposal would look like. And by the way, we do transactions as small as $1,000, and you know, on a great, wonderful, perfect day, we've gone up as high as $10 million. But I will tell you, what keeps our lights on are deals at $10,000. That's our average deal size in our portfolio. So we're probably one of the few lenders left that will do transactions as low as $1,000. Do we prefer to do those all day long? They're very costly. We'd rather be looking at deals over $5,000, but again, because we're a captive, we recognize that we have to accommodate smaller deals to help support the reseller community. So this is an example of our bundle rental program. And again, the proposal just helps you go to market and talk a little differently in the world of what we're all hearing, this scary words of managed services. But at the end of the day, the real nuance here on our proposal is there's no purchase option stated, because conventional leasing talks about what happens at the end. The dollar purchase option, fair market value, or 10%. Much like our car world, where we lease a car and we know we're returning it in 3 years. Well, in this particular instance, the bundled rental kind of plays nicely into hosted, because it's a firm term. At the end of the term, there's a pending event. The customer has to return the system, continue to bill month to month, or in a perfect world, you're going back in there soon, earlier before the term, and you're re-signing the customer to do it again. So in the pass-through maintenance, you'll see the difference here is you can add maintenance into our calculator. It'll automatically populate onto the 2, 3, 4, and 5-year option, let's say, but it's showing a residual value of $1 in this example, so that this is a conventional lease where built into the monthly payment is actually the $100, let's say, per month for the support and maintenance that's included. In our calculator, we allow for you to not include that number of $100 into the monthly payment, but to create a line item below that says, by the way, here's your monthly payment, and when you get the invoice from NEC Financial, they'll be adding $100 a month for your maintenance with us. So in terms of programs today, I like to differentiate between calling things programs and promotions, because to me, a program is something that doesn't have an ending in sight, and a promotion has a timeline. So in this example, I've got 2 programs up. One is for what we consider to be technology, whether we're financing NEC product or others. In this instance, you could actually go in front of a customer, and if you're selling security or a phone system and security, you could be in front of them, take the hardware, software, the shipping, installation, come up with a number, divide by 24 or 36, and that would be their monthly payment. 0 interest during the time in which they pay me. At the end of that term, and by the way, that's fair market value lease example, with a minimum cost of $5,000. But at the end of that term, they could return the system to me, to NEC Financial, where we tell them, or they could go month to month, but it creates a pending event. So it actually has a lot of benefits for you guys, because it makes something have to happen at term that you'd be communicating with them to do something again. And this kind of plays well into the IT world when you start talking to IT managers or the guys who are running the tech or the infrastructure at companies, because they're used to disposing something in 3 years and doing it again. And then we have a program that if you're in front of a customer or you're having an initial conversation and you're talking about how to pay for systems and they say, I don't have a budget right now, so I need to do something right now, our 90-day deferral on the front end, this program would work for that. On a 3 or 5-year option, for example, they would have the first 3 months of their lease with us at 0, followed by the term of 36 or 60 months. So technically a 36 would become a 39 and a 60 would become a 63, where the first 3 are 0, followed by the firm term. Just another way to try and shorten the decision time that a customer makes to moving forward with you. So what's our latest promotion? Well, being a captive, we like to say that, we do come out with promotions that are specific to NEC's product brand, because we are about the brand. So this is a really great low rate where transactions can start as low as $5,000, and you're benefiting, and well, really the customer's benefiting from a very attractive monthly lease payment for small transactions. So take note of 02040. There's no money down, so nothing out of pocket from the customer, and they get a low monthly payment, and they should act sooner than later, because this will end. I want to say it ends September. So if we don't know who you are, and you have not been set up with NEC Financial, we require some basic things. Thanks to being a public company, we need a dealer profile application. We need you to sign a W-9 on the company, and we want you to sign an ACH form with a voided check so we can set you up so we can pay you directly, to deposit directly into your checking account for business. This is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Once you're set up, we would then come back and talk to you about, you know, these conversations that I'm just starting to have with you guys, we need to continue. So there I am. There's Alex, Noreen. If you haven't spoken with them yet, you will be. So I will open it up to questions.